Coming up, Universal's Epic Universe will be open in time for summer 2025, and a new limited time tribute store has opened up at Universal Studios Florida on this week's episode of the DIS Unplugged Universal Edition. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the DIS Unplugged Universal Edition. I am your host, Craig Williams, and I am joined alongside, like always, by my co-host, Rhino.
Hello.
Hello, Rhino. How are you doing this week?
I'm a little tired, a little jet lagged. I was out in California for just like 3 days, and the back and forth of pumping Dramamine into my system in those 2 days took me down a little bit yesterday, but nice. Feeling better today. So good. Great to be out there. Love California. You know, yeah, no. I do have a beer for you.
Oh, beer.
Yes, I brought something back for you. Yeah.
This is nice. I just realized I never ask you like how you're doing as we start these podcasts. So I don't know if this is going to play off a little bit awkward for everyone out there, but yeah, I haven't talked to Rhino in days, so it just kind of felt natural. And that's why we're rolling with it. But we're not going to... What?
I said, I don't know if you see my shirt here. For the listening folks, I'm wearing a Mr. DNA shirt. And I was going to make a joke about, well, life finds a way. And it was going to be an awful joke. So I regret even bringing it up right now. So you're welcome.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to take that out in post-production. So we're just going to roll right through that. And it's all good. We have a lot to get to today. Not really a lot, just a couple things. It's going to be a lot of fun talking about it, though. Before we get to it, I need to remind you this is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. If you like our content, you want to support us, you can always book a vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel to Universal Orlando. It costs you no extra money, and you get the awesome support of a Dreams Unlimited Travel agent. So head over to dreamsunlimitedtravel.com today for a free, no obligation quote. Okay, Rhino, I am just so excited to talk about Epic Universe every time there's an update for it, because it hasn't really felt like there's been a lot to say. We don't get a lot into the nitty gritty of like construction permits and what it looks like with them moving dirt over on the site for Epic Universe. So we really need Universal to actually come out and give updates for us to be able to have a big conversation about it. And that happened just earlier this week. Comcast had its earnings calls where they revealed their fourth quarter and full year 2021 results. And basically, there was good news all around for Comcast, but especially for Universal Parks and Resorts. Now, Rhino, did you see this? Did you hear about this?
I saw the date. I only saw the date thing. Other than that, I did not pay attention to anything else.
Yeah, well, that is good. And through the question and answer portion of the earnings call, it was revealed that Epic Universe is going full steam ahead with its construction, and because of that, they expect the theme park to open in 2025, certainly in time for summer 2025 was the exact quote. I believe that was by Jeff Shell, who is the CEO of NBC Universal. And also on the call was Brian Roberts, chairman and CEO of Comcast, along with a whole bunch of other people. But those are the two that mainly handle stuff with Universal in the parks and resorts because, well, Brian Roberts is in charge of it all and Jeff Shell is in charge of NBC Universal. And that's obviously where Universal is in that. But it was awesome news all around, though. When talking about the parks, they said it's impossible to not be excited about the theme park business. It was a great year for the parks and a great fourth quarter with no impact from the COVID-19 Omicron variant in Florida and very limited impact in Hollywood and Japan. And part of what made it such a great fourth quarter and a great year of 2021 was because of the investment in attractions during the pandemic, like Jurassic World Velocicoaster, The Secret Life of Pets Off the Leash in Universal Studios Hollywood, and Super Nintendo World in Universal Studios Japan. So Universal, I don't want to say they took a gamble by going all in on those attractions right in the pandemic period. Super Nintendo World was going to open anyways, but they really made sure they got it to where it needed to be once Japan reopened and such. And with Velocicoaster, they wanted to get it open as quickly as possible. Same thing. Secret Life of Pets just wanted it all to be perfect. And, it worked out well. And with that in mind, it's also no surprise to hear that they actually have regrets about Epic Universe, and the fact that they decided to pause the construction. So when talking about Epic Universe, I believe it was Brian Roberts who chimed in to say, if I look back over COVID, one of the things I wish we could redo is slowing down Epic. And it made sense to obviously halt the construction during the pandemic because no one knew how long it was going to be. No one knew the financial implications that were going to be put on the project. So it made sense why they stopped everything with it. However,
wait,
Universal.
What? He said he regretted slowing down, or he regretted not slowing down?
They regret slowing down because Epic Universe came to a complete halt.
Yeah.
No,
wow.
no.
Okay. Yeah, no. That's why I was confused. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I just misheard you.
No. They, thank you for, in case I did screw up the way I was saying it, thank you for just double checking on that. Yeah, they said that they regretted actually slowing down on Epic because they did not foresee the pent up demand that theme park fans were going to have in terms of that side of the business. They just didn't realize it, and they would have gone all in to hopefully get Epic Universe open, closer to the timetable it was originally supposed to be, which, gosh, if I even remember at this point, was 2023. And
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And in regard to that, they also said, too, if you build wonderful attractions, there is pent up demand, and we're going to make a fabulous park at Epic, and we're full steam. We're going as fast as we can to make up for lost time. So you can't get much more exciting than that, knowing that they are doing everything they can to get this theme park open on time. And I know just a couple weeks back, we were talking about, Universal in 2022 and how it seems like it's kind of a slow year and don't know if there'll be any new attractions, anything new worth getting excited about. And then something like this comes along that says, you know what? Who cares about the present time of what's happening with Universal? Because even with Comcast, they're looking at the next step ahead. They're looking at what is down the line for them. And I would be worried if they were like, it'll open when it opens and you're going to love it when it happens. But the fact that they are now like, no, we are moving fast and we want to get this product out to you. It's hard to not be like over the moon with that. I am so excited for this park to come online. And, there's still no even official announcements about what's inside. It's the rumors all being Super Nintendo World, Universal Monsters, How to Train Your Dragon, a new expansion of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. It's exciting, even though it could change, but probably won't. Just because the people who seem to know more about it are confident in those developments. But yeah, it's an exciting time to be a Universal fan with all this news.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's one of those things where like I am happy that they basically just did one of their best quarters, or the best quarter they've ever had, right? Yep. They said, and that's crazy to me that happened on top of still like having some of the travel mandates in place and all that sort of stuff. So it makes my heart happy because it means the things that we love the most, like Halloween Horror Nights or, holiday celebrations, will just continue to grow and get bigger and bigger. And then, of course, it also means that they're not tiptoeing into Epic Universe. They're going full steam ahead, which is great. And I'm just very excited. I was actually literally having a conversation with a friend like 2 days ago who has recently moved out of Florida. And he was talking about how he's like, I don't I don't think I'd ever go. He's like, I don't want to go back. I'd rather go to like Disneyland instead of Walt Disney World. And I said, okay, but what about, Universal? Because you just did Halloween Horror Nights for the first time. And he's like, okay, well, for Halloween Horror Nights, I'd go again. And then I was like, well, what about the new park? And they're like, okay, I'd go for the new park. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, if I left here, I'd feel that same thing. It would be Universal that would be bringing me back at the way I feel right now, especially this theme park. So I feel like that says a lot about where they're at as a company, so.
Yeah, I think I'd actually completely agree with you as well, too. It is, Universal does have obviously crossover with Universal Studios Hollywood as well, too. But right now, Universal Orlando seems just, it seems so unique when compared to like Universal Studios Hollywood. It is a destination. It's truly a destination, and it's only going to become even more of a destination once Epic Universe opens up. And I'm not trying to discount Walt Disney World. We can go blue in the face, or whatever the expression is, over talking back and forth about the differences between Walt Disney World and Disneyland, and we regularly do that on our on our YouTube channels with Walt Disney World, and our shows on Walt Disney World and Disneyland. We go back and forth on it, and there are unique things about both coasts and both destinations. But with Universal in particular, since this is the show we're on that's talking about it, it truly, with Epic Universe coming next, it is truly taking a big leap forward versus what is over at Universal Studios Hollywood. Granted, Hollywood is getting Super Nintendo World before we are, but they are getting the condensed version of it, where it's not going to be the grand experience that they have in Japan. And, Japan's getting the Donkey Kong edition that should be a part of our Epic Universe as well, too. So, even as Hollywood is beating us in terms of something like Super Nintendo World, at the same time, it's still so unique. But granted, we don't have any plans, at least that I know of right now, to get Secret Life of Pets over here. So there's still, and we don't have the tram tour. There's still so many reasons why to go to Hollywood, but there's going to be even more reasons of why to come to actual Orlando with it. And you mentioned a couple things when you were speaking that I wanted to also double down on too. Universal did deliver its most profitable fourth quarter on record. And that was driven by strong growth in domestic guest attendance and spending per guest at the parks in United States and Japan. International guest attendance at the parks did remain constrained due to COVID-19, and specifically with Florida, international attendance has returned with guests from the UK and Europe, but not at pre-pandemic levels due to Latin America guests not returning. That's what they said during the calls. They also shared numbers that I didn't quite understand. They said, pre-pandemic, the level for international guests was in the low 30s, and right now it's just above 20. So I don't know if that's talking about it in a percentage wise. They never really specified on that. So that's my biggest guess, though. I'm guessing they're not counting like, we have, 20,000 guests, because that's wildly under 20 million. That's it seems like such a weird thing to say, but to say like of our typical attendance, it used to be low 30s was low 30% was what our international guest ratio was before, and right now it's just above 20%. So that's what I'm guessing. But domestic attendance itself is actually above pre-pandemic levels right now, and
crazy.
It's crazy. And I was just at Universal this morning, and the wave of people coming in as I was trying to leave was just. I haven't seen this in such a long time. And I mean, it kind of feels like Halloween Horror Nights when you go for Stay and Scream and you leave the park at like 7 as most people are arriving. That's what it felt like this morning, leaving at 11 o'clock as, all the groups are starting to come in. I was weaving in and out, dodging people, and it was not slowing down. So yeah, I totally believe that just like attendance in general is starting to get above pre-pandemic levels, because There's so many people, and you're going to go experience it in a little bit.
Fantastic. You made me very excited.
Yeah, I realized I probably should have stopped talking as I'm saying there are so many people. Everyone is sneezing on each other. Everyone's getting in your personal space. It is fantastic.
I saw somebody licking somebody. It was weird.
Yeah, I mean, some people just look like they deserve to be licked, I guess. I don't know. I don't think I'm that type of person.
I'd like to believe I am.
Yeah, I don't know. The facial hair, that would get hair in the tongue and the mouth. So that's why I leave mine extra scruffy, looking like most of my facial hair could fall out at any given time if you decided to lick my beard. So please don't ever do that if you see me in person. Just don't do it. I don't think I have to worry about that, though. And this has now become awkward. So hey, why was I at Universal earlier today? And why is Rhino going a little bit? Yes, I was licking
the
people.
The ultimate segue. Yes.
No, that's not the case. The reason why I was at Universal is because just today, which, usually we would not record this last second, but just today, Universal opened their newest tribute store. And no, we're not talking about the Universal Mardi Gras tribute store. We are talking about a complete different one. It is a Universal Monsters tribute store. And, normally they would only just do the one in the one space and leave it at that. But right next to where they do the tribute store, of course, is Revenge of the Mummy. And right now, Revenge of the Mummy, of course, is closed through summer 2022 for its refurbishment. And because of that, well, they decided, hey, we have the gift shop that's connected to it. Why don't we just take that and turn it into a tribute store? And because of that, now we are all lucky because we have Universal Monsters, a tribute to the creatures of the night. So yeah, Now Rhino, try to get touch me out of your mind.
Yeah, it's too late. It already happened. So, I want to be dirty.
Well, I was
creature of the night.
I didn't read the release to see the actual name of it, and I maybe just wasn't paying attention if they had signage anywhere with it on there. I think they did, but I was trying to find music to put under like a reel of it that I was editing, and I just went with the Monster Mash and felt like so basic. But now that I see like Creature of the Night, I'm like, okay, I never finished it. I'm gonna have to go back and I'm gonna have to put that in there, like just all at the end. Creature of the Night, Creature of the Night. Just have it keep repeating over and over again. It will be the most obnoxious thing in the world, but. Yes, this limited time Universal Monsters tribute store is open in Sahara Traders, the gift shop for the Mummy, and you can't miss it. It's like literally right across from the alleyway where Blues Brothers perform, and they have a nice big sign out in front letting you know that just around the corner is the Universal Monsters tribute store. And this is a little bit different from your typical tribute store. The ones that we know now are technically four highly themed rooms that are a mix of merchandise, props, food, beverages, and your checkout, and then get out of here. This one is different, and maybe it will tweak and adjust because it just opened today. Like literally there was still a guy in there who was programming some of the effects that are used inside the tribute store. So it is clearly still slightly a work in progress in that way. But ultimately, this is just two rooms. You walk into the gift shop and you are in the mummy portion of this tribute store. It's taken over the Revenge of the Mummy gift shop, so it's only fitting that one of the rooms is mostly mummy oriented, and that's what this one is. Just has all of the merchandise from the attraction and some of the Egyptian looking merchandise still in here, so in case you wanted that just because you missed it on the last trip and like, I wanted that shirt with the scarab on it and I missed it, but hey, you still have a chance to get that. And one of the monsters you can get up close to in this room, of course, is the Mummy, and nice little photo op set up. And also in technically the first room, the Mummy room, is an extension room, and inside the extension room is the Phantom of the Opera. And the Phantom is literally just by himself in the room. There's no merchandise. It's just large enough for a couple people to go in, grab a photo, and walk out. It's a little weird, but it's a nice photo op if you've always dreamed of having your photo taken with the Phantom of the Opera. And then it's a basic, just
the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, it's just actually Gerard Butler standing. They hired him to stand up there and hold it. I'm assuming that's the Phantom you were going for. None of the other versions, right?
No, I think I was singing the 80s like cast recording of it that for some reason was like the one musical CD my stepfather owned when he moved in with us originally when I was in high school. And I remember being like, wow, this cool, like, dun, 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 dun. I hate Phantom of the Opera, though. It's just funny. So
I mean, I do love that show. So
I just like that song. I just don't like.
I can't agree with you on the quality of the show. I do enjoy that show, but I will agree with you that it seemed like in the early 90s, if you went into anyone's house with CDs, if they had one Broadway musical recording, it always seemed like it was Phantom, that black cover with the words and the mask.
With the mask and the flowers and the
yeah. And I'm even trying to think like I don't know if my family had a copy of it. I don't think we did, but I feel like some of our closest friends had it and I remember it from there, but like the memory is burned into my mind. I definitely know it. But the segue into the other room is a very loose segue. I mean, it's basically just an opening, kind of like in the other tribute stores as well too. So it's not that far off. But you walk into the next room, and this one is just a smattering of Universal Monsters merchandise. There's a lot of the stuff that they've just pulled from everywhere else where they sell Universal Monsters merchandise. Film Vault, the Born Stuntacular / horror makeup show, gift shop. It's all the stuff from that is kind of shoved in here. They did add in some of the shirts that they recently brought in. That is a collaboration between the Hundreds, Tristan Eaton, and Universal. And these, I remember these from like 3 years ago, I want to say. I believe the Hundreds is a UK based kind of like shirt shop. And I remember these releasing back in like 2018, 2019. And I thought they were all sold out, but apparently Universal has some and they decided to finally put them out now.
That design that was like on the wall at Universal Hollywood, the one they did the mural of, is that what you're talking about? The shirts?
Yes.
But then they like did the thing. Mike Aiello has that tattoo on his arm, I believe. If he listens, I don't believe he does, but I think he just got a tattoo by the same artist I was looking at, and it's of that artwork that I'm thinking of.
No, I love the artwork, and it was pleasure to see the shirts in there. I don't know how many they have. I don't know how long they will last, because like if you go to their website and you attempted to buy it, they are all completely sold out, including the skateboard decks as well. But
how many did you buy?
The skateboard decks?
All of it. What did you buy? Did you buy something today?
I did not buy anything yet. I believe the attempt will be to get two Frankenstein shirts, one for me and one for the missus. Then I'm going to get the Bride of Frankenstein shirt, just because there's finally one that I feel like is appropriate that's more guy centric. So
for your masculine figure, yeah.
Well, it's not a ladies cut, because like I liked the one that they had at Halloween Horror Nights that was Bride of Frankenstein, but it was a ladies cut. They never released it in unisex cut. So this one is. Yeah. So I like that. There is a hoodie of Creature from the Black Lagoon, but it's not a zipper one. It's just a pullover one. I don't need more pullover hoodies. I like zipper ones, but and it's a shame because I love the graphics on it, but not getting
no sweet jackets like the one you're wearing.
Nope, no jackets.
I love that jacket. Yeah. That's why I'm like.
And I love, you and I both said the skateboard decks are awesome. They have one for Frankenstein's monster and then one for the bride. And they are $125 each. And so that's out of my price range. The shame of it is I'm looking at the website where they came from. And before they sold out, they were on sale for £54 each, which I know that's like 70 and then 75-ish, I think.
True. Yeah, I guess you're right. Because it's like 1.5
Yeah.
usually.
So they were like 75, but then you would have had to ship them over. If there's a discount on those, I feel like you could come close to justifying them based on what the sale price was originally. But at the same time, too, I don't think I'm confident enough as a human to hang skateboards on my walls. I'm trying to get away from that.
Do you know who does that? Our friend Ken.
Oh, yes.
He has multiple. Yeah, he showed me one that he got, and now I was like, oh, I bet he wants those too. And I'm like, I don't know. It's like what you said. I love that art print of Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein. And when I saw them on the skateboards from the photo you sent me, I was just like, oh, I was like, I have wanted to. I actually have 2 skateboard decks that are because I bought 4 skateboards and I removed all the wheels to make a dolly out of it. And I was like, what am I gonna do with these skateboards? I turned one of them into a hoverboard that's up above my head that you can't see. Another one was the prototype hoverboard that I didn't like how it came out. And so I have like 2 left that I'm debating about. I was going to do something on the back, some art on the back. And now I'm like, now this is like the second time I've seen a skateboard deck where I'm like, could I be the guy who hangs one on his wall? I don't know.
It's tough. This is the first time I'm like tempted to do it, but I think for me the thing that's holding me back kind of with it is that I'm quickly losing my office, just as like needing to get rid of stuff so I can use my office for more like storage and more childhood things that I got dumped on my feet once my parents moved and said, here's all your crap, take care of it. And it's like, well, now I have stuff in here that is less valuable than the stuff I have sitting in my garage that I need to get inside before it gets damaged. So I'm going to have to switch everything up. And I don't know if I can justify skateboards on walls just with what I have.
What I do with the hoverboard is like, because it's smaller, is like I have a shelf and I put it on. It's one of those like deep shelves, like the IKEA shelves, and like I put it here, and then in front of it, it's got like my little Funko Pop, so you can lean it up. So if you've got other Frankenstein memorabilia, what you do is wherever you have the poster, put the shelf under the poster and leave enough space, and then you can get the board, like lean the board, and then put your little figures on it.
Listen,
you gotta maximize that space.
You're trying to talk me into it, and if you talk me into it, I'm gonna end up biting on it, and I don't want to because I still haven't bought the jean jacket. I've got more stuff I've got more practical stuff that I need rather than more stuff that will collect dust. So I think this has been a good intervention for me. We're talking me out of this. But
it's therapy. We're just talking through it, and we'll get there to a conclusion, one conclusion or another. It'll be fine. Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah. So hey, we got off tangent on that on the actual merchandise that's in there, but that's the new merchandise: the 2 skateboard decks, the shirts, the hoodie. Everything else is from around. There's more Magic Candle Company candles in there. I'm not sure if any of these are new scents or old ones. It's getting very hard to keep up with all the different candles they're making because then they've made attraction inspired candles from the classic attractions, and now they've made hotel inspired candles too. They are just like, they're selling so many at Universal, and it's really hard keeping track of all of them.
I think there's Mardi Gras ones now too. I thought I saw a post about like,
if there's not, it's just a week away.
That can't be a scent. That can't be a scent. But yeah, it's got to be. They've got to be.
Well, they had them last year. So I'm sure there's new ones that they made for it this year. But Magic Candle Company candles inside there. What other monsters are inside this portion? Well, you have the creature from the Black Lagoon, which I love. However, I will say this is the hardest one to get a photo of because they placed him up, elevated above the ground, and very far back. So you can probably get like an interesting shot if you have someone taking a picture of you that, he kind of looks like he's creeping in the background of you. So it could be a little bit cool, but it's a tough one. And it's in a tough space that I think it's going to kind of congest some things if there's a lot of people in there, but who knows? Who knows how many people are going to be in there? After that, they also have Dracula, like on a staircase, looking menacing. They have the Invisible Man right next to the register. This is one of my favorite ones. It was my Halloween costume. I just bought a tiki mug of the Invisible Man earlier last week. earlier this week or last week. I can't remember times anymore, but I'm all about the Invisible Man right now.
Who made it? Was it one of the?
Who is it?
Was it Mondo or was it one of the B line?
No, this was actually. It's not even the Geeky Tikis. No, this was made Akuaku in Orlando. They did.
Oh, really?
They started a monster series, I think, in 2020, and the first one was Creature from the Black Lagoon. I did not get that one though. It was the creature, but he had the Fu Manchu mustache and a hat. It felt kind of racist.
That's fine. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it was definitely stereotypical, and I did not like it for that reason. I looked at it and I was like, it's a creature. I want it. But would I cringe a little bit if I had a friend come over to the house and look at it and be like, oh, that's interesting. So I stayed away from that one. But then the second one in the series is the Invisible Man, and he's holding a tiki mug, but because he's the Invisible Man, you can't see his hands actually holding on to the mug. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I can't wait to show you. But I'm all about the Invisible Man right now. So he's in there. The Wolf Man is in there, and this is also like, it's not a separate room like the Phantom is, but he does have a spot that's easier to get a photo of him and with him. So I like that setup. And then I'm not quite sure how the Frankenstein setup is going to be, because there was the guy still working on the effects in this area right now, so I don't know if they'll open it up a little bit more. But Frankenstein's monster is like under a sheet, and then Bride of Frankenstein is right behind. It's also up high and kind of pushed back, so a little difficult to get a photo of in like the current settings when I was in there. But hopefully they make it that you can get a little closer and get to see some of the details in with it. But there's cool. There's like little like electrical effects happening inside, and I just thought it was all neat. And this tribute store is very dark, so if you don't have a brand new phone, chances are you're going to take a bunch of grainy, ugly looking pictures in here. So just be aware of that. If you're taking a picture of you in there, you'll probably need the flash on to be able to capture it well. But overall, I think the shop is really, really beautiful, and as a temporary little shop, it works out so well. Like, they could have made this the tribute store for Halloween Horror Nights, and I would have been happy with it. It's well done. I wish there was more new merch for the monsters, but they had a lot of stuff that was Frankenstein related for Halloween Horror Nights that never sold out. So I can also understand if they're pumping the brakes a little bit on monsters as a brand right now. But
my question was going to be that, do you think, is it impossible for this store to remain here when the Mummy reopens?
Yes.
I know they say it's temporary. Okay, so it's literally like blocking.
It's blocking the staircase, or not the staircase. The winding ramp. Yeah, it's all really well done to block it so that you forget that it was back there. The one thing they couldn't really hide is there was like where the cash registers were. They have there was an opening that shot through to the arcade, so like they couldn't completely hide that. But for the most part, when you're standing inside the store, you forget that you're standing right where guests used to come walking down a long walkway to get off of Revenge of the Mummy. So they did a good job hiding that, but it won't be possible for it to stay. And I don't know if it is necessary, especially if we are getting Universal Monsters at Epic Universe. Do we really need a Monsters themed gift shop in Universal Studios Florida, and then also in a new park too that's gonna probably be highly themed? And instead of just a gift shop like this, we'll probably have multiple gift shops that make you feel like you're in the world of the monsters. I think I'd rather have that, but that's just me. But again, I hope people buy enough stuff that they're like, yes, this is a brand we want to invest in, not just because there's a couple creative people and a bunch of a small group that's crazy about monsters like I am. I hope the general population buys into it too. I don't know though. I don't know, Rhino. I'm worried about it.
I mean, it seems to be going the right way cinematically right now with the Invisible Man was great. And then what was the other they did another. Didn't they do another classic monster recently that did really well as well? Did I make that up?
I feel like you're making it up because I don't remember it unless I.
So is the Invisible Man just the beginning of it? But that guy who made the Invisible Man is also making another. They're making the Wolf Man with Ryan Gosling.
Yes.
So like, I think hopefully the attempt to do this make the monsters in the modern world and relevant continues on because I love seeing it. I don't know. I'm excited to see what the future. So I hope Universal doesn't give up on it.
Yeah, I mean,
just because that Tom Cruise Mummy movie wasn't great doesn't mean they can't keep going.
I agree with that. So I'm looking up what they. This is from Screen Rant. So if it's wrong, don't get on me with that. And this is actually from August 2021, so stuff could already be out of date with that, but it says that Elizabeth Moss elected to tackle a new interpretation of the Invisible Woman. So it is going to be
a sequel?
Yeah, I think they're doing a sequel. So that's what Screen Rant is saying. There's a Dracula film being done by Blumhouse from the director of Jennifer's Body. There also is a different take done by Chloe Zhao. So that is the other one. There's the Renfield.
Okay, that's what it was. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Chloe Zhao, and then but Lee Wynell I thought is doing a Wolfman. Did I make this up?
I'm still going through my list. We have Renfield that is going to be directed by Chris McKay. And it is reported that it could be Nicholas Hoult in the title role.
That's the one about isn't that a Dracula one? That's Van Helsing? No, Renfield, isn't that part of that?
Yes, it is all part of that. And then they're saying a Frankenstein with James Wan. They're saying a Bride of Frankenstein with potentially Scarlett Johansson. I felt like that got canned, but I could be wrong on that. The Wolfman, originally slated to appear as a Dark Universe film, they are now moving forward with Blumhouse, with Ryan Gosling, with Lee Wynell directing the film. So we finally got there. They're still
okay, good,
saying
good.
Dark Army could potentially happen, an ambitious crossover movie that will feature a large cast of iconic creatures from Universal's pantheon, written and directed by Paul Feig. And so, yeah.
That's the one, the Paul Feig one. I knew that was going on too. He had submitted a script, but I don't know if they're making it or not.
Well, it says here that he called the story one of his all-time favorites, and despite budgetary concerns from the studio, Feig has promised to see the film through to completion. So who knows if it will ever happen, but he will apparently keep pushing for it until it actually gets made. Which
I know you love him. You're a big fan of his work.
I'm not a big fan of his work for the most part. No, I do. I like
just Sabrina season 1.
I like more of his work than I dislike it. It's just the stuff of his that I dislike. I feel like I dislike on a pretty aggressive level. But you know, he's in one of my all-time favorite movies, The Heavyweights. So I will always love him. If not for anything else, solely for that, and I'm sticking with that. But Rhino, we've been rambling a long time here. I think it's time for you to get out to Universal Studios Florida and actually check out this gift shop. And with that, I think we need to bring this episode of the DIS Unplugged Universal Edition to a close. So just like the Midnight Society, I'm going to throw some whatever sand. And they throw sand on the fire, right? I don't remember.
Yeah,
I haven't watched an episode in so many years.
That's how you put out a fire. Yeah,
I thought you threw gasoline on a fire to put it out.
I don't know. Sand is a specific type of fire, and then there's flour for another one, and then there's
Well,
this episode's been brought to you by Skate Decks.
Skate Decks,
the newest art to hang in your house.
Paul Feig also as well too, and Lee Wynell and the Wolfman.
Lee Wynell, thank you. Directed by Lee Wynell. Thank you for your guest director.
Thank you. Thank you so much. But we're extinguishing the flame on this episode. It is retiring, so we are going to say goodbye with that. Thank you so much for listening and watching. If you enjoyed it and you're watching on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and then leave comments, questions, and video suggestions in the comments section below. And if you're listening to this, please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and if it's through Apple Podcasts, please leave us a 5-star rating and review if you're enjoying the show. And you can always book a trip through Dreams Unlimited Travel. Get a free no obligation quote today at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. But Ryno, thank you so much for having this fun conversation with me. I hope you enjoy Universal.
Yes, I hope so too.
Good. And thank you again, everyone out there, for watching and listening. We really appreciate it. We do it for you and you alone, not for ourselves. So thank you very much for taking the time to tune in. But we will see you again real soon with another episode of the DIS Unplugged Universal Edition. Have a great week. And remember, we still haven't changed the name.